Hello, this is a recreation of the functionality of Music Bingo or Mingo, and we're going to jump right into it here. This is your main screen here. When you're using the software, this is what you'll be looking at. Uh, Anybody that's seen the prior video, you'll see this looks a little different. I added some functionality not long ago and cleaned everything up quite a bit. So, I believe I have some playlists. Yeah, I got some demo stuff in here, so we can use that. And yeah, so we'll start with our little buttons up here, which most of the stuff in here you'll recognize, especially the patterns. That's the same button as before. You got each of your different type of bingo patterns to tell the program to look for, all in here. You can choose any you want, but things like, a T would be kind of silly if you're doing, you know, lines and four corners and stuff, because those would come up first. So obviously, you know, you wouldn't have those all checked at the same time. However, if you do the coverall, it will uncheck all of them, because there's no reason to have any of them checked during coverall. And then, of course, if you went back to clicking these, it'll uncheck the coverall for you. So anyway, the usual that we do at our shows are, lines and four corners, diagonals, lines, and four corners. Now the numbers indicate the number of squares it takes to get that. So, for a line, if they have a free space, it's only 4. If they don't, then it's 5. Um, yeah, 5, 6. Yep, these are all should be correct. So this gives you a quick reference to, how difficult or how long the game would take based on these numbers. A little 2 by 2 stamp, it would be very quickly. Same thing with a small diamond like that. So anyway, yeah, that's your basic pattern functions. You got your screen options. Here you use if you click this, it'll use the full file name of the song that the clip that you've created. It'll use the title of it, the file name itself. So what we usually do for those is, I'll show you quick. We lay them out in a way that, actually, we lay them out in a way that makes it easy to read for the shows, and we do them all the exact same way. And they look like this. So here's your actual titles. So we have the artist, a space, a dash, a space, and then the title. And we do that with all of them. And then in the programming, generally when you make them, you want to also fill in the title and the contributing artists. There is some other artist options, but the one that the program uses is the contributing artist. So you can put that same information in here. And when this isn't checked, then it'll just give the title of the songs playing that you list in here under the tags. So but when it's checked like this, then you get the full name of the file over here. So that's how that works. So keep that in mind. And then we have include song number. So this is very handy if you're doing like progressive jackpots that you have to win in under a certain number of songs. People can see, how many songs have played. So that's what that is for. The last check clip win or check last clip win. What this is the person calling bingo on the most, the song that's playing or the one that just played, before the next one plays. So a lot of places, they want you to call bingo on the current one that you get a bingo on. And this is because if you don't, what you can have is people that want to maybe group together and cheat a little bit. And what I mean by that is that somebody will have a bingo, they just won't say anything, and then when somebody else bingos, then they'll call a bingo too. So if you ever have a problem with that and you want to prevent that, you can do this check mark, and that it'll if they have a bingo, it will flash red instead of green if it wasn't gotten on the last song. So if they'd had it previous to that. So that's what that is for. Rarely use it, but it can come in handy for certain scenarios. So then we got the clip and delay lengths, and what these are is how long the clips that you've created will play. We generally default to 20 seconds. Also, when you create the clips, keep in mind that the uh, the clip actually plays for as long as this, and then it tapers off, so it doesn't just stop the song like instantly. It tapers off for about 3.5, 4 seconds or so. So keep that in mind. So if you're going to do a 20-second clip length, you want to have the files that you create, you want to have them to be at least 25 seconds. We generally cut to 30 seconds so we can play with this just a little bit if we want to play a little bit longer clips of the songs. So we usually cut all of our stuff to 30 seconds. So, and then your delay, this is the number of seconds once the song has stopped playing that your like your ads or your memes or whatever you want coming up on the screen come up. This is how long that they stay up. Generally, we use between 6 and 8 seconds in there. It gives you a second to maybe make a comment about the last song that played or whatever. So then your logo interval is when you have a logo set up for the your business logo, like you see right underneath, you see our organized chaos logo. It's how often that comes up on the screen instead of one of the ads or the the memes. So if it's on one, it literally will put your logo up every time in between every song. So we generally default this to like 10 or so. So every the first song and then the 11th song and 21st song, it'll show your logo. So those tablets generally don't need to worry about. You can, if you do have Android-based tablets, you can use them for Bingo. It will work, and this is how you would enable those. And that just sends a signal. There's really not a whole lot of communication back and forth between the tablets on the Music Bingo. It's not tracking any of the tablets or anything like that. It's not doing any of that work for you. It just activates them into the proper section because we do have trivia and Pixelate and other games that it has to know what you're playing. So this button essentially just activates the tablets that are connected to the system and tells them, hey, we're playing Music Bingo, and then just to make sure it's working, that's what the number of tablets connected, that number will go up as they sync in. And then they'll have options on the tablet to pick their dauber color, and then they will just be given a card in their tablet so they can just click it just like they would mark a piece of paper. They'll just click on the tablet to mark the songs. You'd still have to go over and check them and all of that though. So, and then the remote, this is a literal Android-based remote control system that we have with the software. Uh, in the software suite anyway, that is included, and that you can as long as it's synced to the main computer properly, you can use a tablet to control the Music Bingo program. So that's what that's for. I've used it a few times myself. It's been a long time since I've used it, but I've used it to where I could run multiple different games without ever going back to the computer or back to the DJ booth to control the games themselves. So that's what that's for. That's for our remote system. So anyway, the buttons over here, these ones here are a little bit new. They're more or less self-explanatory, but at any point, if you want to choose a playlist, you would just hit your drop down here, and you can pick whatever playlist that you want. These are some that we had from a grad party a while back, and you can select them this way. Any one of them you want, you can just grab. And then the reason I added this is sometimes we have a lot of different venues, and sometimes they want customized stuff. So this list can get a little ridiculous sometimes. We'll have 20, 30 different things in here, and sometimes you forget, like, oh yeah, we're playing this one, so you come in here and you're like, oh, we're on game two, and even though you're way down here somewhere and you had a different playlist, you're like, oh yeah, game two, and you just come up and click this one quick, and now you're in a whole different set that you don't even have cards out for. So to help prevent that a little bit, once you hit that first game, every game after that, you can just come up after you've played and whatever and gone through and hit bingo and all of that, you can come up and just hit next playlist, and that will literally just load the next one and randomize it just like it normally would. And you can do the same thing over here. Sometimes we've had instances where we want to have different ads coming up or memes coming up on the screen for different games, and so we would name them, game one, memes or game 2 memes. So that's why I added this button here. But usually we just have them all in a single folder with all memes or whatever on there. But there is different scenarios, especially with advertising, where you may have different groups of ads and stuff that you want specifically to play, during certain games and stuff, depending on your situation. So that's why this button is here. It does the exact same thing as this one does. So you can, if you're just trying to quickly get into the next game after you finish one, you just come in here, click, click, and it'll just shift into the next ones, and you're ready to go. For now, we're just going to go like that, and then I usually have the randomize on, the which will do exactly that with whatever's in that folder. However, sometimes you would want to make sure, especially with ads, you want to make sure that certain ones come up. So the way to do that would be to put them, name them in a certain, alphabetical way that you want them to come up in the folder, and then you would just uncheck this randomize ads, and then it would bring them up in the order, alphabetical order from the folder. So that way you have control over which ones come up when, if you really want to. Generally speaking, we generally have memes come up and we randomize them, so whatever comes up. Yeah, we're to the point where we have, I think, over 100 of them in there that are music based or bingo based. So most of them just funny stuff. Currently, we're putting Halloween ones in our current list. So, and then your playlist here, it does randomize every time you use it. So, for example, you can see Everybody Wants to Rule the World is first, and then Man, I Feel Like Woman second. And if I come in and I just switch and then I come back again, it's been re-randomized. So those ones are not there anymore. So yeah, every time it just completely randomizes it. So there's no way you can't move these around anywhere. You can scroll it obviously, but you can't move the songs around once it's set. That is done very much on purpose. I did not want to make software where the songs could be moved around. I've seen other software um, that you can do that, and we've had shows where the venue was offering progressive jackpots and stuff like that, and it got well over $1,000, and that would be a very, you know, potential incentive for people to cheat the system and make sure that somebody that they know won or something like that. So I made this specifically so you can't really mess with that at all. The best you could ever do is just kind of keep coming in here and reloading the round and try to get the songs you want at the top. But even then, it's extremely difficult. There's no guarantee that the randomization will get you where you want to be. So um, even if I knew what songs were on somebody's card, it would still probably take me 20 minutes to even maybe get a proper list that might uh, give them a win. So it's extremely unlikely to happen. And then, like I said, that is all on purpose. So anyway, I'm going to quickly mute my PC audio so I don't have to worry about the YouTube having an issue with this. So you're going to see me start this playlist here. You're not going to hear anything, but if you see the song title up over here, you can just assume that it's playing and that the name and everything that you're seeing in this little window over here is what the crowd would see on your secondary monitor and stuff that's facing them or whatever. So yeah, if you see it over here, that's what the crowd sees essentially, whatever you see in this window right here. So I'm going to start this round up quick, just make sure we got our settings proper. Yep. All right, so hit start. And sorry, I had to turn my speakers down even though you can't hear anything. So the song is playing right now. And I'll let you know when it's done. It'll be 20 seconds total. And it's tapering off and it's done. And you see this little next clip countdown. This comes in handy if the crowd's still singing. You can pause it quick, right before the next one. And then they get done singing. And then you can resume and go right into the next song. So just for demo stuff, I'm going to quickly turn some of these numbers down here. Let's go to 4 so I can pause it. And then those are changeable right on the fly. When you change them, it does change them, but this one was already set at 20, so it'll work on the next one. But like now for the pause in between, you see how the number was shorter here. Now let's just assume that after however many songs um, a bingo was called, you would get the card number, come over here, you click check card, it gives you a little option box. You would type your card number in. The system, I believe, goes up to 5,000 cards that you can make that are all randomized, and then you would hit check it, and it brings up their card. And obviously, this person did not get a bingo. They only got the one song, but I'm going to quickly run through a bunch of these songs here. So I'm not going to hit bingo or anything. We're just going to go to resume, but at first I'm actually going to just chop this down so it goes really quick so it can demonstrate the bingo functions. I'm going to go to resume. So you're going to see it go back and forth between songs and memes pretty quick here. So, and yeah, you can see obviously they're, you can keep track of where you're at on the playlist over here. And this comes in handy for people that aren't sure if something played, or if you forget if something played. That would be a quick way to check. You're only seeing a few memes because I'm using the default, just few that are integrated into the system here. So you're just seeing a few of those. But somewhere around 20 some or 30 some, we should be able to do some more demonstrations here on how this works. And again, you can come in here while the program's playing. You can change, what kind of thing is going to count as a bingo. You can do this all on the fly. It doesn't change anything. I could, for example, I could take this off right on the fly, and here you see the name, but on the next one you'll see only the title, just like that. Now go back into there. Now I'll show you the song number 2. Missed it on this one. You can see it here. This is your own personal song number that you're seeing all the time, but now you can see it on the big screen. It shows the song number, then the rest of the information. And any combination of that works. So I can go back to just the song titles. And now we got the number and just the song title. So most of the time we leave the full on so we can see the artist, so people know who's singing it and stuff, and we mention that. And sometimes the conversation is around the artist, not just the song. So. But just demonstrating that all this stuff can be done on the fly. So, and we're getting a little closer here. I'll probably wait till we get past 30 here just to make sure we got a better chance of finding one that has got a bingo on it. You can actually change the ad folder as well on the fly. That's one thing that I wasn't sure if I could do for a while, and I finally just did it during the middle of a show, and it worked. So that is one thing you can change right in the middle of a show. It doesn't hurt anything. It just switches right over. So. Yeah, I wish you guys could hear some of these songs, but YouTube gets really mad at me if I play all these songs in my video clips. But I assure you, they are all playing in my headset. So, all right, let's get a couple more here. All right, let's say somebody just yelled bingo. We're gonna pause the game quick, and we're gonna check card. Check. You'll see it fill in here. Oh yeah, we did get one. Look at that. Now, as you've seen, it flashed green, right? Now, was without me anywhere in there? It was not. So if I were to have the red thing, the indicator that I was talking about, and was to check that card again, since the last song that played isn't in their bingo, it would flash red like that. Just wanted to make sure you saw that. But in our scenario where that wasn't checked, we count that as a good bingo. So generally it would look just like this. Everything would get done. And then I'll actually turn the volume back up here, and then I will have you hear what a bingo sounds like. This little jingle plays, and you can't see it here, but on the crowd screen, the secondary screen, there is some randomized fireworks playing on the screen over there. And they're different every time. It is a randomized system that plays the fireworks. They're just kind of digital fireworks. So that is generally how a round would work. You see all the buttons are gone because you've had bingos. Keep in mind, if you have multiple bingos, you're going to want to run those through the card checker before you hit bingo. Once you hit bingo, all your buttons are gone until you reload a new round. So keep that in mind. Sometimes we don't know if a person had a bingo, a second person had a bingo until after we've hit the bingo button. Then we generally just check them manually at that point. That's usually not a big deal. If you absolutely had to check another one, you could actually just completely close the program right here and then start it back up with from the load from save state, and that would actually reload it, and you could check it that way if you absolutely had to. But generally, that's not a big deal. But from here, at the end of the game, after bingo and prize or whatever, I just come up, hit my next playlist, and we're just right there immediately ready to go right into the next game. Super simple with that. So that is all your basic uh, functions to run Music Bingo. It really is. That is it. That is all of it. So once everything's set up, which I have separate videos for, everything you just saw in this video is your functionality of actually playing it, during a venue or during a show. And it turns out I missed a couple things. First of all, I didn't hear the audio play that was supposed to play. That was my mistake. I will play it here for you in a moment so you can hear what the bingo tune sounds like. Sorry about that. And then I also needed to explain two more things. I needed to explain that anything that you uh, change in here, it saves it instantaneously to, yeah, this can go away. It saves it instantaneously. So if you close the program, open it back up, it'll be wherever you left it. So keep that in mind if you're doing any testing like I was just doing with the 1 second and the 1 second delay. If you don't go back in and change that, that's exactly what it'll be set at the next time you try to use it. So we've had a couple shows where all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's playing awful fast. Whoops, forgot to reset the settings on that. So keep in mind that all the settings in these tabs, other than the tablet stuff, obviously, all of these things will save where they're at. Um, as soon as you click it, it saves it. So next time you come in, they'll all be the same. So, and I want to explain this button. So this button has saved me about half a dozen times at shows where we've had just generalized crashes. I think my program, I think it's crashed like twice maybe. I think in the 4 or 5 years I've been messing with it. But we've had the computer crash and we've had power outages, and this works beautifully. You can literally be in the middle of the game, song playing, everybody's having a great time, and you could just unplug the computer. And if you plug it back in, fire it back up, bring the program back up, you get to this opening screen like this. You can push this button here and it'll load right to wherever you were on the last game. I'm actually going to do that right now because the last time I used the program was to make the last demo that you were just watching. So I'm going to click it here and you'll see should be the same playlist. I think we were down in the 30s. Yeah, we were down to, yeah, right here without me. So 1 second, I'm going to close out the audio. And if I hit start now, it goes right to where it was. So it doesn't darken out the ones that it already played, but it'll keep darkening them out from there on. So as you can see, it goes right back to where it was, even though the program was closed and reopened in between the videos I was just making. So without further ado, I'll get back into showing you the bingo sound. Hopefully it actually works this time. And there you go. That's what a bingo sounds like. And during that little jingle, you see some fireworks going off and everything. Then once your logo comes back up here in the mini screen, that means all that's done. So you can go right back in and get your next playlist going and go right back into it. So yep, just want to add those few quick little pointers there, and that's it. Thank you.